This is the GE compact condenser dryer and steam washer. This is the less than 24-inch version. The dryer is the ventless one. Is for a small area. Clearly I have it in a bathroom. If you're interested in knowing more on why I chose this and looking at the features a little bit more in detail, stay tuned. I'm mainly making this video for someone that is looking for a compact washer and dryer set that requires a small area and is considering this particular unit. When I was looking, there was hardly anything on this model, on this unit. There was people just kind of showing it, and then there was someone else that was kind of talking about the compact vented version of this. But I want to just give you a little bit more detail on the condenser, which is ventless, the condenser dryer, so that, you know, it would help you with your decision. I really wish that I had somebody talking about this a little bit more in detail than what I got. So I'm not going to go over the specs of this unit. You can go on the website and read all the details. I'm just going to, you know, just tell you what I think of this and show you a little bit more about it. The biggest thing for me that made me decide to get this unit was the dryer. I was looking for obviously a dryer that was compact, ventless, and that narrowed down my search significantly. And I ended up with having either a condenser dryer or a heat pump dryer. The heat pump, you know, the LG uses that, Miele, Bosch, I think Samsung, that use heat pump. It is, from what I understand, you know, energy efficient, but it does take longer for your clothes to dry. That was my understanding, at least based on research. The other option was the condenser dryer, like this one. Condenser dryer, you know, the drum gets hot, it evaporates all the water, and the water ends up here, and then you throw out the water once in a while. From what I understand, I could be wrong, is that the best type of dryer is the vented one. So I wanted something as close as possible as the best type of dryer. And from what I could gather from my research is that a condenser is closer in terms of drying time and, you know, efficacy of drying. Condenser dryer is closer to a vented unit, so that's why I decided to go with a condenser type of dryer over a heat pump. And I kind of understand the mechanism of the dryer, so that's why I kind of decided to do it with the heat pump. You know, I get it. You know, I read and listen to a lot of people explaining how it works. I still don't get it. Like, where does the water go? I'm sure it goes somewhere and there's, like, you know, something. But if you do a lot of drying, like the water is going to accumulate somewhere, and I feel like that would lead to like damage later on, because, you know, the water is just going to be sitting somewhere. But anyways, that's why I decided to go with a condenser dryer. Now the washer is just washes, right? It's a highly efficient washer, and honestly, I didn't look much into it because I feel like most washers, you know, they kind of do the same. I was debating on getting the LG one over the GE because I hear that you know, the washers are really good. But then I would run into the issue of like stacking. So I decided to just get, you know, the pair over, you know, doing a mix match and then try to figure out how to stack it. So I was debating between this GE model and the Electrolux, but the Electrolux washer was on short supply, so it was like out of stock in my area, so I was not able to buy it, so I ended up just getting the GE. Let's just take a look inside. This is a drum. I would say you can make a moderate load. It's not a large load. It's 3 of us in the house, my husband, I, and my little 6-month-old, and this is perfect for us, you know. I don't think that I've gotten any issues in terms of the size. Size-wise, I think it's great. I can do a moderate load. The clothes get washed pretty well. I haven't had much of an issue fitting in a load. The same with the size of the dryer. I think the dryer size is just perfect for what it is. I have put in a quilt in there and it washed it pretty well. The dryer was something else because I think it just kind of balled up and it didn't dry properly in the middle. So I had to keep opening the dryer and, you know, fluffing the quilt to get it to dry. And obviously to just turn it on, everything is touch. I like that they have, you know, a lot of presets that you just turn. That's pretty useful, but you can also modify it and customize it with this. I like that it's not all touch, but you can actually, you know, use the little knob to like make it work. It's pretty straightforward. Then you have here where you put your soap dispenser and your fabric softener and all of that. That works pretty well. Now the dryer has a light, which I really appreciate that light. Same thing, you know, touch presets and you can modify it. I really like that I can modify it. I don't usually do unless I need something quick or something just kind of fluffed out to like remove the wrinkles and stuff, then I'll modify it, but not really, right? I just kind of use the preset if I'm drying towels or whatever it is. I tend to just stay to mixed loads or casuals, and that's pretty much it. Here, as I showed earlier, is the condenser. You just kind of take it out. Let me try to do that with one hand. You just kind of take it out and dump out the water. I do that, honestly, I do it every other load and it doesn't bother me. I don't know if it will bother you, then maybe you need to go with a heat pump, but it doesn't bother me. I like the concept of, you know, the water goes somewhere, and that's just me, okay? And here you have your condenser. You have to take it out once in a while and rinse it out, and you can dust in there. Sometimes a lot of like dust gets in there. Let's look at the inside. Pretty sizable load. You can put in here moderate. The whole thing that you put in your washer, you can probably dry it here pretty well. There are some materials that don't dry well. If they're padded or something like that, they won't dry well if you have a lot of clothes in there. I would say just get like a hanger, you know, and for those things, just dry it in the air. You know, it will be fine. And your filter is here. Other things to know. When the spin cycle is going, it does shake. It does shake quite a bit. All of this will be like really moving. I'll try to find a video of it, like how much shaking it actually does. Mainly when I have like really uneven load, meaning like when I have like different type of textures that I'm washing. But you know, it doesn't bother me, it doesn't last long. And I feel like, don't all washers do that? I don't know. In terms of the dryer, it does get hot. The room gets hot, so I leave the door open for the bathroom when I'm washing. And again, it does take quite some time to dry, as compared to like when you go to the laundromat. You know, you can put something to dry for 40 minutes and it will be fine. That's not going to happen here. And I think we need to have the expectation that, okay, this is not a commercial dryer. It's not going to dry as well or as quickly as a commercial dryer. So if you have your expectations, then the dryer is going to match those expectations, right? I do have a rack if I feel like I have very delicate things that I don't want to put in the dryer, or if the dryer doesn't fully dry something, I just put it in the rack, put it in the living room or wherever, let the clothes or the sheets or whatever air dry, and then that's it. And honestly, I don't have to do that often. As I mentioned earlier, I had to do that with a quilt, and the quilt was dry, I would say, in like an hour. It was just a little bit moist, but it wasn't like wet. I had to put a load of towels in there and it dried it perfectly. Overall, I am pretty content with this unit. Obviously, it's not the best in the market, right? They say like the best in the market is the Busher, the Meal. If you have the money, go for those. If you're on a budget and you can find this on sale, this one is a good choice. I'm overall content. It washes and dries. That is its job, and it's doing its job well. Yeah, if you have any questions, leave it in the comments. Just want to show you, I just threw in a really small load of whites, and I'm really just gonna put it on white, right, and call it a day. I put the soap in there and everything already, so I will show you the shaking when that time comes, okay? I will show you the shaking when the spin cycle comes around, okay? Not too bad of a shaking. When there's an uneven load, the shaking is pretty strong. Just wait. The shaking, especially when there's like an uneven load, it doesn't last long, but be aware that this is gonna happen. And maybe if I move this